Can you hear the coqui frogs outside? I'm remembering more and more lately that nothing needs to be done. These moments of fear and panic come in, and something in me thinks I need to do something in response. And the mind races with all the different possibilities of what I might do, how things might unfold. And sometimes this, I'll call it a memory, comes in that nothing needs to happen, that clarity will come. And my sense of it is that it's arising to be felt. In some ways, it's that simple. Fear comes in, and the mind races, it seems like, as a self-protection to not feel the fear, to not feel the discomfort of that, terror of that, perhaps. So today I found out that it looks like it's time for me to move on from the place I've been staying. Basically, as soon as possible. It's up in the air to some degree, but it feels like I won't be here much longer. And what a time to be in the unpredictable unknown of where I will be staying with the virus out there. So, understandably, there was, some tension in me and a lot of feelings wanting to be felt. And I meditated for maybe a couple hours, watching that process unfold within me. And within the fear coming in, there was also this feeling that would kind of come and go of, maybe I could call it trust. A sense of adventure, a feeling of gratitude that whatever unfolds, it's going to contribute to my liberation, my expansion, my enjoyment of this human life experience. Because the more I face these fears, the more that I surrender to the process and trust the unfolding organically as it is without feeling the need to do anything in response, the more I sense that this liberation and expansion is happening. The more open-hearted I become, the more fulfilling my connections feel, the more inspired my conversations have been. My creative inspiration feels so alive and fun. And it all feels like it contributes to what set me up for that was my time in the darkness, my time in fear, my time confronting all of the challenging feelings. That they softened me and opened up a tenderness in me, and an awareness, a co-creation with something beyond the me I have known myself to be. Can you hear the rain? It's so beautiful here in Maui. Just the sounds alone. I don't seem to really panic the way I used to, or not lately at least. There's some background calm that comes in that reminds me. And what I mean by there's nothing I need to do, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit here like a lump of coal and I don't know why I used coal. Like, I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing. I'm going to trust that clarity will come on the other side of those emotions and that inspired action will arise and that synchronicities will show up or something unexpected will unfold. Someone will reach out. I'll be inspired to write a post and then people, or make this video. and then people will see it, and something I didn't expect could come out of it. So it's looking likely I'll be moving on from the place I'm staying in a matter of days. It's not completely clear. The people I'm staying with are so available for communication, for checking in with their own feelings, for looking at their motivations. We had the most beautiful conversation around it today. When they said, "Can we just talk?" And I was so glad they said that, because I was feeling tension around not knowing how long I can stay, and so it felt like it really loosened something up to talk about, like, all the different pieces of, here's some fears that are coming up for me, here's some concerns, but at the root of it all was, intuitively, it just feels like it's time for you to go. And I had been feeling that possibility in myself as well, that even though I really enjoy the people here and it's very comfortable and my survival needs are taken care of and everything is good, something in me was starting to feel the possibility that I might not be here much longer. And part of me was thinking, oh, it's coronavirus, it's lockdown, like, I'm not going anywhere, I'm just going to be here for a while, but who knows. A friend said, maybe you'll be someone's apocalypse buddy. I love that term. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll get an apocalypse buddy. Maybe someone would love to have my company, invite me in. Part of what's challenging for people is that I'm not available to show up financially right now, to contribute financially. So part of the tension where I'm staying is that I'm not offering anything in exchange for a roof over my head and the food that they're offering me. And I'm also clear, like, if it doesn't feel okay, I can go. And so there wasn't a resistance in me. I was just available to really hear everything that was coming up for them and to let them know that, yeah, if it feels like it's time for me to move on, if that's where we ultimately land, then that's what I'm going to do. And it feels really beautiful to be able to engage from people from that place. Like, I'm not taking it personally. Really, parts of me sometimes are like, oh, why don't they want me here? But that doesn't really stick. It more feels like they're helping me through honesty to allow all these emotions to come up, allow all these beautiful conversations to happen, and to potentially be giving me the sign that it's something else is waiting for me. Something else is more aligned than staying here for potentially weeks or however long it might be. And maybe not. Maybe I'll end up staying here for a while, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. It's really beautiful to be in a situation that would have scared the shit out of me so much in the past, and it is scary for sure. And I happen to feel more grounded in this moment. In other moments, maybe not. Maybe I'll be, it's all nervous system, right? So if my nervous system really gets overstimulated, then I probably won't have much access to trust, and I probably will be resisting more than surrendering. But there feels like a momentum's happening. The more that I am in this full trusting of my intuition, trusting of inspired moments, and trusting that nothing needs to happen until those inspired moments show up, then all I have to do is feel. All I have to do is exist. And that's what I'm looking for. There's so much joy and relief in not battling anything. It feels obvious in some way to stop pushing against life, stop fighting against the current of the waters that are carrying me to the most beautiful experience I can imagine, beyond what I can imagine. That's part of surrender for me, is I imagine what's coming is so beyond what I know and what I can imagine that I don't, the mind can only recreate what it knows. It's my sense of it. So if I'm using the mind to make my decisions, I'm just going to repeat for the most part. If I let go of the mind being the director of my experience, then something else can guide me. And that something else feels like magic. Another metaphor I thought of today was quicksand. Like, any movement that I make from a place of fear or panic is like moving in quicksand, and it's just going to sink me deeper into it. So I wait, and then maybe a branch falls down that I can grab, or I discover some new movement that actually moves me, that allows me to navigate the quicksand in a way that I don't sink deeper into it. That something's waiting to whisper or to offer me a branch or a hand. Maybe a hand. Someone will come walk by and pull me, and if I'd struggled, I would have been buried before they ever got there. Metaphors are fun, or analogies, whatever they are. I get those two mixed up. So maybe coronavirus time is inviting this surrender to feeling. So much magic seems to happen on the other side of simply feeling it. That's it, just stopping and feeling it. I meditate a lot, especially when fear is present. It comes and goes how much I meditate. It's more common for me when there's an activated nervous system that I just close my eyes and be with what's there, and oftentimes I start crying. There's a catharsis that unfolds, and yeah, I get the sense that that's the experience that's desired, just to feel that there's some integration or release or insight that comes through that process that that otherwise I'll just keep using the mind to protect me from the feeling and from the alchemy that's inviting more expansive versions of me to be experienced. So yeah, in those moments of fear and panic, nothing needs to happen but feeling it, being available to surrender to it. And we won't always be. Sometimes it'll consume and it'll do its thing, and that seems to be part of the game. But sometimes I fall back into it and I experience it in a new way. In the absence of resistance, feelings sometimes aren't as bad as we imagine. There can be like an ecstasy or a juiciness in an experience when we are in a less surrendered space. I mean, a more surrendered space, a less resistant space. Okay. Another critter. I'm gonna let the frogs play us out. Thanks for joining me.